Hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling. I'm teacher Oakley, and today we are going to be looking at collocations of words which are related to city life or urban living, as we've been doing at this time slot here on Verbling for this week, looking at collocations. Collocations, very simply, are words or phrases that commonly go together in normal conversation, normal writing even. Things like adjective and noun pairs, sometimes adverbs and adjectives, nouns and prepositions, nouns and verbs and object nouns. Things that words that go together. English being a language of phrases, really, not really individual words. It's a very good idea to. Sometimes it helps to learn vocabulary in this kind of chunking way, chunks of language. That's what we're doing today. Today, focusing on urban life, city life. Okay, we're going to do some reading and talk about the reading, the collocations that come up in the reading. And then as near the end of the class, we'll probably do some exercises as well to test what we've learned. So a mix of reading and conversation as we talk about these collocations. All right, let me get started by welcoming you all to the class. And doing a little microphone check, making sure we're good to go. Okay. First of all, Mikhail, hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you. And you?
I'm tired, but well. Thank you very much. All right. Nice to have you back. Hello, Julia. Welcome to the class.
Hello. Thank you.
Hi, Julia. Hello, Gina.
Hello.
How are you today? Hi.
Fine,
How
thanks.
are you doing? Okay. Great. Welcome to the class. Hello, Danny. Is it Danny?
Yes.
Hi, Danny. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear it. Welcome to the class. Okay, Heidi has joined us. Hello, Heidi. Hello again.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Welcome back. And Sasha. Hello, Sasha.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Great. And also Albina is with us again. Hello, Albina.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Thank you. Thanks for asking. And last but not least, Diego. Hey, Diego.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. How are you doing?
Fine.
Okay. I seem to have missed somebody here somehow. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Okay. No?
Hello,
Anna.
teacher.
Anna. Oh, Anna, I'm sorry.
You forgot me.
I write down your names, so I can. And I'm going. I have 8 names, but I see 9 people. 8 names, 9 people. Anna, you know why I missed you? It's your fault, Anna. You know why I missed you?
No problem, teacher.
I missed you because you're usually the first one into class. That's why. So I just automatically assumed I've already said hello to you. That's why. It's your fault. Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Anyway,
nice to see you.
Good to see you as always. Okay, terrific. Now we're good to go. We're full up. Let's roll. All right. Okay, I'm going to start with Mikhail. Michael.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to do a screen share here. Michael, do you live in the city? Whoops.
Yes, I live in not too big city.
Okay. I live in a not too big city. Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Sorry,
All right. A
it's
medium-sized city, you could say. That would be a
yeah.
common collocation. Okay. We're going to look at some reading, some extracts from a magazine article about some tourist cities, which describe towns and cities for visitors. So go ahead here, Michael. Read the first sentence here, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Please.
The city skyline is a wonderful mix of old and new, and the city itself has a lot of busy, narrow, cobbled streets. The old town is a concept. Sorry?
Hang on. We'll stop there. We'll let somebody else do the next sentence. But okay, let's talk about the city skyline. Just as yesterday, actually, we talked about rural living and countryside, and we talked about a bunch of collocations with landscape, right? If you remember. Skylines is like a landscape. There's another word that we can use for a city skyline associated with landscape, but we don't normally say the city landscape. You can say the skyline, or do you know another word, Mikhail?
No, sorry.
Sometimes we say cityscape. It's like, obviously, a blend of words. A cityscape is another word that we use. The skyline, of course, is the outline of the tall buildings against the sky or the horizon. Okay, and Michael, this word, cobbled streets. Okay, first of all,
Cobbled streets.
Cobbled streets. Right. Any idea what that means? What the heck? What are cobbled streets?
We have the meaning just below the text now. Made of regular patterns of.
Oh yeah, we do. Okay. Are there any cobbled streets in your city?
No, in my city, no. In some cities near, yes, but just in my city, no. Okay. I don't think so.
Of course, cobbled streets are usually very old. Yeah, my city's so stupid. They're basically the busiest intersection of the entire city. They've decided because it fronts a beautiful, really old and really quite beautiful church, really cathedral, you might say. Because of that front, there's a main thoroughfare that goes right to basically the front doors, and then there's a crossing street in front of the church. They have decided it will be very pretty for the tourists or whatever, or it's very beautiful to turn the modern paved streets into cobbled streets, which is ridiculous, because now they made the stones that they used are like, I don't know where they found them, in the river, I don't know, but it's like driving down a riverbed. You're like, and now cars have to slow down to barely moving in order to transverse this area of about a square block, which includes the busiest intersection of the city, and nobody can travel. The pedestrians go faster than the cars.
Yeah, we had an experience some years ago. We traveled to some places in Europe and by bike, and we went with our child in a little trolley, and in some it's something very common in some cities in Europe to use these paved streets, no, but for us it was very bad because he wake up when she was sleeping in the trolley. Always happened the same.
Yeah, I'm sure. Bumped to death. Right. They're very, very bumpy. It makes for a rough ride. Okay. That's the point. Cobble streets. Okay. Thanks. Thanks, Michael. Julia, can you read the next sentence, please?
Okay. The old town is a conservation area and it has a lot of quaint old buildings dating back to the city's foundation in the 15, can't
1500s.
remember, 50,
Yeah, 1500s, Julia, is how we say that.
1500s.
1500s.
Sorry.
That's,
Yeah.
no problem. Well, we're here to learn. Yeah, that's how we say that, 1500s. Do you live in a city, Julia?
Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Quite
yes,
a big city.
yes, I
I
do.
do. I do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Do you have a section of the city? By the way, areas of the city are called section. Section of the city, which is like an old town, maybe possibly a conservation area, meaning it's kept in the old style. The architecture, the maybe cobbled streets.
Yes, I'm from Italy, so in general you can see some conservation areas in more or less quite every city, Italian cities.
Right.
And so in Milan, it's not one of the big old-fashioned city in Italy, but yes, you can find something of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm sure that probably includes some quaint old buildings. Of course it does. Italy's famous for quaint old buildings. Okay. Interesting word, quaint. Quaint does associate well or co-locate well with old buildings. Interesting word. Okay, well, we can see the definition here. Attractive because of being unusual or old-fashioned. It's kind of like cute. Cute and old-fashioned. Okay, while here, quaint old buildings is clearly a positive in this sentence. I just want to point out that English speakers frequently use the adjective quaint as a detractive statement. How quaint. They're sarcastically saying, oh, how cute and old-fashioned. They're mocking it for not being modern and up-to-date and, I don't know, fashionable. They're basically saying it's old and unfashionable. Sometimes quaint can be used derogatorily or negatively. It's just a point I want to make. And often you will hear it spoken like that. Speaking of collocations, oh, how quaint. It's actually normally a sarcastic expression. However, when we collocate it with quaint old buildings or quaint old furniture, quaint old whatever, again, another case where we're using a collocation that's almost redundant because quaint means old, old-fashioned, but we almost always use it with quaint old something. Yeah, anyway, isn't that quaint? Okay. Okay, moving on. Okay, Gina. Read this next. Yeah.
Radella Street has a lot of upmarket shops and rather pricey, sometimes overpriced. Restaurants, but not far away, is a Gymnasia district where you'll find restaurants which offer good value and a more relaxed atmosphere.
Okay. How about you, Gina? Do you live in the city?
Yes, a little town, dating to the Romans.
Okay. You live in a little town, not a big city.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Good for you. Yay. Teaching Vermont classes, I feel like everyone lives in a city in the world, because normally, literally every student I talk to, yes, I come from a big city. Yay. Thanks, Gina.
You're welcome.
Great. Yes, I'm glad to have you here. Okay, Gina, do you shop in upmarket shops? You know what that means?
For people with expensive tastes.
Mm-hmm.
No,
No,
unfortunately,
you don't.
no.
Unfortunately, okay. All right. Yeah, upmarket. This term is even used well. It's used to talk about products, upmarket shops, upmarket stores, of course. Maybe even an upmarket mall. Usually, but it's used to talk about places that sell commodities, well, actual physical products. Well, wait a minute. Upmarket services might also be used to talk about things like grooming your pet is kind of an upmarket service. You know, normal people, well, poor people don't take their dog to have a hairdressing appointment, for example. Okay, Gina, pricey. Pronunciation was a little off on this one. Pricey, okay. Expensive, and that's definitely negative. Pricey, obviously, overpriced is very negative. And I don't know why overpriced restaurants, pricey restaurants. I guess they're showing that these can collocate with restaurant. Yeah. Okay, restaurants can be pricey. Restaurants can be family restaurants, which generally means they're more of a moderate price. Expensive restaurant collocates very well. Okay, good value, I think that's pretty obvious. Relaxed atmosphere, all right. Well, pretty straightforward collocations on that one. All right. All right, and Davey, can you read this next little section here, please?
Royal Avenue runs from north to south, and it's lined with shops. Behind it, the streets are full of lively bars and fashionable clubs. The pavement cafes and shops of Luna Square are pleasant but very expensive.
Pleasant. Okay. Streets run. All right. When we describe streets, it runs from the Garden District into downtown, for example. So when we are describing a street and where it is, we often use this collocation. Okay, that's a good one to know. What does it mean, Davey? It's lined with shops.
That in the street there are a lot of shops, and that's it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Okay, the shops are one after another down the shop, next door to each other. Yeah, that's it. Okay, lively bars and fashionable clubs. All right, Davey, do you like lively bars and fashionable clubs?
Me?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, of course.
Of course. Okay. Okay, lively bars. All right, that's a collocation. All right. Okay. You might. What was the? Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to think of for like a more upmarket, but you wouldn't say really an upmarket bar. Maybe a fancy bar. Yeah. Okay. Chic bar. Fashionable clubs. Okay. Fine. The collocation there. Pavement cafes. All right. Davey, I forgot to ask you, do you live in a city?
Yes.
Of course. Do you have cafes in your city?
Yes.
Okay. Now here they have pavement cafes. I think that's very British. Americans say street cafes, meaning that they probably have tables right out on the street. Do you have street cafes in your city?
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you, Davey? I forgot.
Where I live, I'm from Israel.
Yeah. Ah, right. Okay. Okay. So nice weather there. All right. Good place to have cafes where there's good weather. Okay. Street cafes. All right. Bistros. Sometimes. Okay. You may hear that word as well, meaning the same thing. All right. Well, let's continue. Heidi, can you read this next section?
As we drive into the city, the tree-lined avenues of the residential areas are soon replaced by the high-rise flats of the inner city. Then come the imposing buildings of the parliament and the government department.
Okay. Now this is interesting. Notice the collocation, tree-lined avenues, but we don't say shop-lined avenue. We would never say that. We say it is lined with shops. It is lined, possibly, interestingly, it's kind of interesting. We have different collocations to describe different kinds of streets. A tree-lined avenue, an avenue lined with shops. Okay. If it was lined with bars, okay, I guess we could say lined with bars and clubs, but very often an area that's set up for entertainment, clubs and bars, we would call it a strip, and that's where the strip is. And sometimes we don't say a strip of bars or the bar strip, we just say the strip. And that, if you're in a city, at least in America, and you ask where's the strip, it's pretty much that area. So that's kind of interesting. All right, we don't use even the same collocations to describe streets. Let's talk about areas. Heidi, what other kind of areas are there? Residential areas? What else?
People are living in that place.
Yeah, people live there. What other, okay, residential area, we say. Interestingly, we don't usually say, well, what other kind of areas are there in a city? We often use district.
Yes.
Yeah.
Depending on the area, it's different. Some place ban to open a shop or even coffee shop or restaurant, only the houses.
Yes, that is true. It could be different cities have different rules where you can have businesses or where you can have residences, private, personal homes. Okay, well, now it's interesting the words we use: area, district, zone, to talk about cities and the different areas within a city. Now look, you have residential zones or residential district. Okay, we say business district, or maybe business zone, but business district is a very strong collocation, but we never say business area.
Oh.
Like never. Okay. We can say, not distract. Sorry, that's supposed to be, I wrote a note in there. I misspelled district. Okay. All right, we have industrial area or industrial district or industrial zone. Industrial can be either. or any of the above. And
business district.
Business district. Yes, it would definitely be business district. Financial, sometimes financial. Some cities like New York, Hong Kong, that's the financial district down by Wall Street.
Wall Street, yeah.
Yeah, but we don't say the financial area. Financial district.
Osaka, it's called Kabutocho.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that?
If I hear Kabutocho, it's like stock market or something.
Right.
Like
okay.
Wall Street.
Right. You automatically associate it with banks and, yeah, stock market. Right. Okay. There are some cities may have an entertainment district.
Like pub or club?
Clubs, bars, yeah. New Orleans comes to mind. San Francisco has an entertainment district. Some cities don't. It's not necessary that cities all have these, although almost every city has a business district and a residential area at the very least. They may or may not have these other ones. We also talk about zones. And when you talk about laws in English-speaking country, what Heidi was talking about earlier, what you were talking about earlier, Heidi, with you're forbidden by law to start a business in a residential zone. Or, you know, they also have, they will say, they'll talk about, a business zone, an industrial zone, a residential zone, or
which is bigger?
Which is bigger?
Yeah, area or zone or district.
Ah, yeah, okay, right, I forget. It doesn't, there is no bigger. Okay, you may also use it here, mixed use zone. There is no bigger. It depends on the individual city and the place. What could be an area in one place, could be a district in another, could be a, they're all the, there is no size involved. They could be relatively small in one city, they could be really big in another city. And area, district, zone doesn't really matter about size. You're not really talking about size. Or about use. Yeah, purpose. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, also high-rise flats. Of course, flats is apartments. Americans say apartments. Brits say flats, of course. Inner city. Okay.
Maybe tall building apartment.
Yeah, tall apartments or high-rise flats. Same thing. High-rise apartments. Yeah. Americans, I don't know about Brits. Americans say, for example, apartment complex could be one enormous apartment building. It could be like 4 identical buildings in a diamond-shaped pattern or something like that you see sometimes in cities that are all residential apartments. Could refer to that. That's another collocation. Right. Okay. Inner city. What does that refer to, Heidi?
Some inside.
Yeah. Well, inner, inside. Yeah. Usually also called.
Okay, I got it. Like slum.
Well, the central part of the city. Now, I don't like this, where poor people live and where there are often social problems. It is maybe a slum, a ghetto. Ghetto has an H, Sasha. Maybe, but inner city is often this happens. The inner city is where, yes, all right, poor people, families that have lived in the city for generations, whatever, live. Yeah, this collocates with other words. Inner city youths, for example. Okay, inner city crime collocates with that. Inner city problems. Okay. There is no, by the way, there is no outer city. Before somebody asks, there's no such thing as an outer city. That would be a suburb. So there's a different word for that. Imposing buildings. Okay, well, all right. Really big buildings. Fine. That's another possible collocation. Anna, a million years ago, you had a question. I'm sorry, I just kept plowing along.
Yes. Yes, I have a doubt, teacher. Pavement cafes is something similar to pedestrian zone?
Pedestrian what?
Pedestrian street is yes, is located in an area which is made of stone, and it's only to pass by people, no car. Pedestrian zone.
Right. Yeah, normally any pedestrian zone, sometimes walking street. In my city, we have a place called Walking Street, no cars. Okay, or pedestrian zone, or pedestrian market. In another city I used to live in, the pedestrian market, no cars. I've heard it called several things. Of course, there would be outdoor cafes, tables on the actual sidewalk or on the stones or on the bricks. Often they have like bricks or something to make it look prettier instead of, like they're not going to use black pavement. Yes. Obviously, and try to make it more attractive. Yeah, there would commonly be cafes, outdoor cafes, dining al fresco.
Yes.
Absolutely. That would be very common. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let's talk about more problems since we introduced inner city. Oh, one other thing that seems to be horribly missing here. As an American, every city I've ever been in America, you can talk about an uptown and a downtown. Now, it's very interesting. You may think it has to do with up and down, maybe north and south directions, but really, no. In general, downtown is the business district. Okay, when you're in American cities and somebody mentions downtown, they're probably talking about the business area. When you say uptown, it's another part of the city where the rich people live, to put it bluntly, when there's more of the nice residential areas. Oh, he lives uptown. Frequently, for Americans, one part of town, and it doesn't matter which direction of which point on the compass that you pick, he lives on the south side, he lives on the east side, he lives on the west side, he lives on the north side. Depends what city you're in, okay? Every city has one, or even two. He lives on the, okay, New York, you live on the east side or you live on the west side. It's very common. Or downtown or uptown. In Boston, there's the south side. There is no east side because the east side is the ocean. So you can, south side is known as a more dangerous kind of working class neighborhood. But there is, in Boston, for example, there's the South Side, which is known as that working class neighborhood. In America, every city has its own. Chicago has a South Side. In another city, it may be the East Side, or the West Side, or the North Side. It doesn't matter, but the something compass side, which usually refers to a more working class kind of neighborhood. So when you hear that in movies and such, that's very normal. But which point of the compass depends on which city and where that part of town kind of grew up. Okay, let's read some more. We're going to read negative things about cities. Sasha, can you read this first sentence, please? From some of the.
Some of the inner city areas are an urban wasteland and are somewhat dangerous for visitors.
Okay. You can read one more, please.
Okay. In fact, some streets have become no-go areas with high crime.
Okay, very good. Well, we already talked about inner city areas. Okay, as I mentioned, the South Side or something like that in the United States. Urban wasteland, here's a collocation. Okay. Sasha, are there in any of the cities in your country, are there urban wastelands? Okay.
I don't know what it means.
Okay, here it is. A city area which is empty, in bad condition. So there may be like old apartment buildings that have no windows. They're all broken into. There's garbage in the streets which nobody ever picks up. There's no stores. It's like abandoned.
The area, I don't think there are areas, but there are buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Or old, or maybe just which cannot be
rebuilt or refurbished.
Or maintained.
Maintain. Yeah.
Maintain, yeah.
Okay.
Not areas.
Okay. In New York, for example, if any of you go to New York City, whatever you do, don't go to the South Bronx. Just don't. Unless you have some kind of suicide death wish, then be my guest. But just don't, because it is the very picture of an urban wasteland. There, for blocks and blocks and blocks, there's nobody living there. It looks like a nuclear bomb has gone off, and really, that's what it looks like. It's basically a no-go area. You see a few people shuffling around, and you don't know what they're doing there, because exactly as what you just read, Sasha, it's a no-go area, high crime. Nobody actually lives there. The buildings are all run down, burned out. Many of them have been burned. Now, I don't know. I haven't been there in 10 years. Perhaps there has been urban renewal. Urban renewal, when they take such an area, as we're talking about, and they rebuild it. They basically tear it down completely and start over. Urban renewal. Okay, this happens periodically. After a while, it stays that way for a while, and then some politician gets it in his head to fix it up, and they do, and they rebuild it, build a new developments and whatever. Yeah, it is weird. It's really quite scary, actually. I don't know if you guys have experienced this kind of thing, urban wasteland, no-go area. I remember getting lost in the South Bronx, not knowing, got off the wrong exit or something, and oh my gosh, you're driving down streets, and you don't see another person. There's no lights on in the houses. It's quite scary, actually. More about that here. Okay, Albina, can you continue? From many streets. Albina, are you there? Albina? Yes? No? Okay. All right, Diego.
Okay. Many streets I strewn with litter, and there are numerous run-down buildings. There are some deprived areas around the city center with high social problem. Industrial zones, which lie on the edge of the city, are grey and are polluted.
Polluted. All right.
Okay.
Okay, Diego. Strewn.
Strewn.
With litter. Strew is a very unusual verb in English. To strew something is to throw it down without any care where it lands. You strew things, you spread them out. You throw them and spread out. So they are strewn with litter. Litter, of course, being a word for garbage. Strewn with litter, very strong collocation. And
strewn. Okay.
Yep, and basically exactly what I was just talking about when I was describing South Bronx. Run-down buildings. Okay. No glass in the windows. No door in the door. The door's missing. Empty rooms. Like that. Okay. I think we had run down the other day. If you're run down, you're very, very tired. Okay. So, run down buildings. Diego, do you live in the city?
Yes, I live in Valparaíso, Chile.
Ah, okay. All right. Do you have any areas that are urban wastelands? A neighborhood maybe where nobody lives and the buildings are all run down? Or not? Not necessary.
There are a high hill in the city. In the part highest, I don't know say, is urban inner city areas.
Okay. Inner city areas. Inner city area.
In the mass highest of hill.
In the hills.
So yes.
Okay.
Yes, many hills. There are many hills in Valparaíso.
All right. Okay. All right. So no rundown areas. All right. Deprived areas. This one is very weird for me because I don't know. Americans use deprived to talk about people. I'm not used to using it to talk about anything else, but apparently Brits use it to talk about areas. I don't know. Deprived people that are very poor.
Yes. It's opposite. You describe in this text. Poor people live in the high uptown of the city.
Right. Okay. Like fava. No, not fava. What's it called? Oh, forget.
Favela.
Favela. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Michael.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I couldn't remember the word. All right. That's very interesting, because like in American cities that are surrounded by hills or mountains, it's just a kind of a normal thing for the rich people to live in the hills, like Hollywood Hills, like Los Angeles. The hills are populated by the wealthy, and the commoners live down below. I don't know why that is, but it's quite normal. Even in the small town I grew up in, the really rich people live up on the mountainsides, and the normal people live down in the valley. It's interesting. Anyway, okay, industrial zones. We already talked about that earlier, right? There you go. Could be industrial district. Right. Okay. All right. More bad news. Okay. More bad news about city areas. Anna, finally, you get your chance here.
Yes. Triop is a sprawling city with bumper-to-bumper traffic all day long. The exhaust fumes can be a nightmare.
Yeah. Okay, well, you're already on the exhaust fumes, so you might as well talk about the traffic. Go ahead, one more.
Okay, the volume of traffic has increased in recent years, and the incessant roar of trucks and buses makes the city center an extremely noisy place.
Okay. All right. Anna, do you live in a city?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's more exactly. I live in the suburbs, but normally go to the city.
Okay. And is the city a sprawling city, or is it a more concentrated city? Now, it's interesting we use a sprawling city, but we don't really have a word for the opposite.
Yes, my city is big, but not the biggest city of Spain. But anyway, it has a lot of traffic. Above all, when you go, since the suburbs, to have to commute since the suburbs to the city center.
Okay.
In the railway is correctly. I don't know. I don't know how to say that at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're saying, to be honest.
No.
I'm not sure. Well, anyway, we'll talk about the traffic in a minute. The sprawling city is spread out. I don't know if anyone in this class has been to Los Angeles, but Los Angeles is ridiculously a sprawling city. Really, if you wanted to drive from one side of Los Angeles to another, it would literally take you like 6 hours.
Yes.
It's really far from one edge of town to the other. It's really spread out. There's no definable downtown with a cluster of very tall buildings. There's some tall buildings here, and then there's some a mile away, and then there's some 5 kilometers away, and there's no real defined downtown in Los Angeles.
Sorry, the opposite word could be compact?
Compact. Now, okay, whereas a sprawling city is a very, very common and often used collocation, a compact city defines it, and in my mind, it is a great antonym or opposite, Michael. So that's how I would define it if I was saying it. But I have to tell you, it's not a very common collocation. We don't use any kind of collocation to describe the opposite of a sprawling city. But I think, Michael, if I had to describe it, that's how I would describe it. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know why, but there really is no normal phrase that we use or normal adjective. I don't know. Okay. Traffic. Anna, bumper to bumper.
Yes. Sorry, teacher. What I wanted to say was highway. The highway is bumper-to-bumper traffic.
There you go. Okay, well, that's perfect. Well, there you go. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on the highway. Very normal phrase. Bumper-to-bumper traffic. The volume of traffic to talk generally about how much traffic is in a city.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Exhaust fumes. That's almost a compound now, and it's such a normal collocation. And incessant roar. That's a good one.
Yes. It got constantly noise.
That's right. Incessant roar. Another one. Another good collocation. Incessant racket. A racket is a disturbing noise. Yes, another strong collocation. So, yeah, traffic is a problem. Does anybody here live in a city where traffic is not a problem? No problem at all. Anybody?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah,
Really?
because I live in a very little town, so almost a village.
Ah, okay. So no problem with the traffic.
No, not at all.
Ah, oh, there is such a term. Thank you, Michael. Compact city. Okay, since you're here, Albina, I missed you last time. I don't know why.
Yeah, sorry, I got offline. I have some problems with either my laptop or my internet. I'm not sure.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and read this next
Okay.
section here, please.
The comfortable suburbs away from the city center contrast sharply with the poor shanty towns one sees on the way to the airport.
Okay, the burbs. The suburbs. Nickname in America, the burbs. Okay. Comfortable suburbs, I guess that must be British. Because Americans, that's not a collocation I'm familiar with. Americans look at these suburbs. I didn't really. It took me a while to figure this out. That other people think of the suburbs as a bonus, as a beneficial thing, as a very good thing. Americans
I'm sorry,
tend to.
I got offline again. I'm back.
Okay. I was just saying that in most places, suburbs are looked at as beneficial and good and a wonderful, great thing. Suburbs, for Americans, there's a little bit of a sarcastic attitude about living in the burbs, the boring, sheep-like life of living in the suburbs with the same house and the same garden and the same wife and the same kids as your neighbors. Being sort of like manufactured people. I don't know. Plastic people. Plastic people living in the suburbs. So it's a little bit derogatory. Okay, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Shanty towns. Okay. Albina, are there any shanty towns? Obviously, probably not in your small town, but how about in your country?
I don't really know the meaning.
Shanty towns. Well, you'd know it if you saw it. An area where the houses are made out of pieces of tin and plastic, a few wooden boards, some plastic sheeting tied between two posts, cardboard. All right. They're slapped together using any material that they may find. Here, where I live in the Philippines, these are fairly common, actually, especially in and around Manila. Not so much other places, but definitely. Shanty towns, or sometimes squatter villages. You
Squatter.
do you know what a squatter is, Albina?
No, not really.
Okay, a squatter is a person who doesn't pay rent. They didn't buy the land. They live on the land. Perhaps, for example, they live if they live in a city area, there's an old hotel, an apartment building where there's no power and the windows are broken, but they live in there anyway. They're squatting. It's a verb, it's a noun, to squat. Sometimes they build a shanty town or a squatter village on property, again, that they're not renting or they didn't buy, and they live there for free. Okay, those are squatters.
Okay, thank you. Well, here in my little town, we don't really have this kind of
course.
places, but we do have bunkers. They're left from the Second World War, and I think that sometimes young people, they squat there, or maybe maybe just homeless people. I'm not sure.
Okay. Your homework. Go check it out. Report back to me tomorrow. You can tell me.
I don't promise. Sorry. I need some company.
Do interviews. I want a full report. Oh, okay. Interesting. Very, a funny thing. I don't know if it's makes any sense to anybody else, but in the United States, big cities, you'll have squatters. Okay, fine. In the countryside, I don't know why, but if you have like one or two homeless people living in your town, they always choose to live under the bridge. I don't know why. But if you ever hear jokes, speaking of collocations, about living under the bridge, I'm going to go home to under the bridge where I live in a cardboard box. I don't know why. People choose to live there. Okay, let's see if we can zip through this matching exercise. Let's see what we remember real quick. Let's try this out. Michael, number 1. Mix and match. It is a sprawling what?
It says, sorry, what's the beginner? Sprawling city covering an enormous area.
There you go. Exactly. Very good. Julia, number 2.
Okay. It's full of upmarket shops, which are too expensive for me.
Yes, indeed. Me too. Gina, number 3.
There was a bumper-to-bumper traffic all the way to the airport.
Very good. Yeah, sure we all know what that's like. Danny, number 4. Danny? Danny, you there? No? Okay,
He's
Heidi.
probably also having some problem with the internet connection as me.
Could be. It happens. Heidi, number 4.
I get asthma from the terrible exhaust. Traffic? Oh, I don't know. Fumes in the city center.
That's it. Exhaust fumes. Very good. Sasha, number 5.
A life in residential. Oh, actually, I think I've missed the residential.
Residential area. Could be residential, again, could be residential area, district, or zone. Okay. Residential area, but work in the city center. Again, Brits, sometimes Americans say city center, but more often than not, they'll say downtown. But I work downtown. Where the central business district is. Americans are much more likely to call it downtown than the city center. Okay. Number 6, Albina.
Some of the more deprived areas are not far from the city center.
Right. Again, Americans don't really use it this way, just so you know. Deprived people. Deprived almost always goes with people. A deprived person, deprived child, deprived widower, whatever. Okay, Diego, number 7.
Okay, the main street in town is area, but work in the city center.
Well, it's going to be with the main street in town. Okay, no. The main street in town. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the next one. Main street in town. When we describe a road, we describe where it goes. So we describe it like this. It runs from the castle to the river.
Okay.
All right? The main street in town runs from the castle to the river. That's one worth remembering. The street runs from A to B. It runs from Marquee Mall to downtown, whatever. Okay. Okay. Hello, Philippe. Philippe, welcome to the class. Although the class is over. Hi. Hello. Bye, Julia. Okay, let's see if we can knock off the last three. Michael, number 8.
Yes, number 8. The main street is lined with shops. So lined or lined? Lined, sorry.
Lined, that's it.
Lined with shops and cafes.
Very good.
And in speaking about, we have a bike path in a street. Can we use a bike path line street, or is a street lined with like a bike path? What is the correct collocation?
Okay. Well, okay. If on the street right next to where the cars are going, there's a bike lane, like car lanes, then it's a bike lane. Oh, Waldorf Street has a bike lane. That means it's right next to or even just barely off of the road. If it happens to wander around and go next to the road at some point and then wander off over a bridge and through the park, then it's a bike path.
Okay.
Okay, so you would just say there's a bike path that runs along the road for about a half a kilometer. Okay, like that. You wouldn't say, okay, that's interesting actually. You wouldn't say the road runs along a bike path. You would say there's a bike path which runs along the road, and you wouldn't say there's a bike path lined road. You would never say that.
Yeah, but if you want to describe a street which has a bike line, is a bike line street?
No.
Or is a street with a bike line?
If you said a bike, yeah, it's a street with a bike lane. You're saying lane, right? Not line. Lane.
Lane. Yeah.
Okay.
Lane. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Speaking of lined, okay. Gina, number 8. The main street is.
The main street is lined with shops and cafes.
That's right. Very good. On the sides of the road. Okay. Sasha, number 9.
On the outskirts are some industrial zones and some larger supermarkets.
Okay, very good. Industrial could be industrial area, could be zone, sometimes district. All right, last one, Albina.
The streets was strewn with litter.
Yes, yuck, disgusting. Okay, thank you, everyone. Sorry we went a little over time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, listen.